Hello everyone and welcome to today's little bonus video, and today we're going to be taking a brief look at the 1.97 dev server. Catch your breath, Joe. um, and today we're just going to be going over briefly what vehicles are coming. Obviously, before I start, all vehicles are subject to change. Their battle rates are subject to change, any ordnance, etc. And also, this is not my main account, this is one of my backup accounts that I use for grinding because I really can't be asked to log into my main. So, we're starting out with the A4B, which obviously, as you saw there, is before the FJ4B Fury, which, to be honest, I think this thing should be after the FJ4B, but even so. So, looking at the jet, before I begin, it reminds me of, if you've ever played Grand Theft Auto 5, is it the Bezra? This thing reminds me of the Bezra. It's that aerobatics jet. Reminds me very much of that, and to be honest, it actually looks quite nice. It's when you get into the ordnance options. Now we're on with two 20mm cannons with only 200 rounds between the two, so those cannons fire pretty quickly if I remember rightly. I don't know, I don't really play high-tid jets all that much. But you've got access to wide range bomb loads, including the 2,000-pound nuke, which should be interesting. Good amount of bomb loads, ballput rockets, which are the ATGMs, and well, I say ATGMs are more, they're air-to-ground missiles, I should really say. We've got Mighty Mouse rockets, 133 of them. I'd love to see that as like the actual thing. It's got AIM-9Bs to defend itself if it has to, although I don't know. I've never really played high-tier jets, but from what I've heard, the AIM-9B isn't great. But that's just how it is. And also gets access to a triple 20mm gun pod, to put it simply. That should be really interesting to see. Obviously, I can actually research this jet on my main account, so you never know. You might get a video on it. I'll see. Next jet is the F4E Phantom 2, which looks absolutely fucking gorgeous, is all I'll say. This is absolutely awesome. I love the skin. It reminds me of one of those dogfights episodes where you see a F4 Phantom dogfighting a MiG-19 or something. It looks gorgeous. I have to admit this jet is looking really nice. So it says there's a 20mm gun, although I'm no expert, but I'm fairly certain a 20mm gun pod should be right here. Although that could maybe be it here in the nose. Yes, it is. That was a good guess, wasn't it? You see, I don't play high tier jets. I've only just started flying jets myself, so like the lower tier sort of jets. Appears to be no armor, really. There's only an 8.5mm plate there. But this thing's all about its ordnance and everything. 3 gun pods, which you should be familiar with, 24 500-pounders, 16 750-pounders, AIM-9Es and AIM-9Js, which 20G lock should be really interesting to see. There's also flares. I should hope this should maybe keep top tier jets matches longer than 10 minutes. That's what I see on the forums and stuff like that. A lot of people just say that games are over in like 10 minutes from what I've seen. But also, this thing gets access to 3 2,000-pound bombs, which is, oh, that's going to be devastating to tank B. And it's going to be able to carry M9Js, so that'll be really interesting. So for the US ships, because there's no tanks or helicopters at the moment, there's the, not that, the USS Portland, which I have to admit, this is one beautiful model. I'll just turn off the external armor and everything. I'll show the armor in a minute. But I have to admit, this is one gorgeous model. And if anyone knows what these biplane scout aircraft are, please do let me know. I'd love to see those in War Thunder. They look like beefed up Kingfishers personally, but even so. Armor appears to be pretty reasonable, given I believe this is a heavy cruiser? Again, I don't play naval, so, but this looks to be pretty well armored for a ship, that I do have to say. So the Portland should be pretty interesting in most players' hands if you at least angle it like this, although you're going to have to watch the bow area, which is pretty much what it's going to be like. Right, Germany. I don't think they get any new ships. Doesn't look like it. I know they get a new aircraft. Here we are, the Ju-188A2. This is basically a tech tree variant in a sort of way of the Ju-288. Obviously, this isn't as good. It appears to have two 20mm MG151s. There's a 13mm there. There's a 13mm here. Sorry, no, that's a 7.92. Oh, that's going to be horrible. There's a 20mm on the front and there's a 20mm at the top, which that's stuck up at an angle. So unless you're approaching the bomber from about here, it's not going to be able to shoot back at you with a 20mm, and then you'll be able to shoot there. That's a bit of a design flaw there, Germany. But looking at the bomb loads, it can carry a Satan and a 1000, a Satan and three 250s, and overall the bomb loads seem to be pretty good. Do I think it's going to work at 5.3? Probably not. The speed is a lot lower than the Ju-288, and the engines they seem to be very similar to well, I mean, they're much more powerful than the Ju-88, but you still get my point. As for armor, it's not going to stop 50 cal. That will, but personally, this plane might be a bit debatable, but obviously I will do a video on this aircraft when it comes. Is there any more aircraft for Germany? Doesn't look like it. It looks like they're only getting the one this patch, but hey, they can't complain. Helicopters appears to be no, and I know they get a couple of tanks as far as I'm aware. Here we are. Well, they get one, which is the Radkamp Wagon 90, which looks really, really cool. I mean, it reminds me like they've just taken the Leopard 2K's turret and just slapped it on an armored car chassis. It looks really nice. Armor obviously is not going to be great, but that high hardness is actually thicker than it actually is. And looking at the actual vehicle, it looks really well detailed. Let's have a look at shells. DM23 and it gets DM33. So you've got good shell options. I mean, at 9.0, this thing should be a nice, easy scout to drive. And to be honest, obviously, this is not the true horsepower. This is an arcade setting, but it's likely to be around about 900 horsepower if I was to make a guess. But looking at that, that looks fun. That's for definite. Let me just have one last check. Yep, looks like Germany is clear for the moment. Okay, let's move on to Russia. I know they get the T-72, but that's really it. Yeah, there's the T-72. This is the T-72. Again, I keep clicking information. I'm terribly sorry about that. But here's the next one, T-72B, which I've seen the armor values for this thing, and fucking hell Christ, this thing's going to be a monster, I think. But I'll be surprised. There appears to be ERA packages pressed all over the vehicle, although some of them don't appear to be registered. The armor appears to be improved on the turret and everything. And yeah, this should be a pretty decent top tier tank from what I've seen. And the T-72 is one of the few top tier tanks that I actually respect, because I've seen it so often in like movies and things like that. And it's just a tank that I will always respect, because it's just one of those vehicles that I always see. Right, next one is, I think they get a helicopter. Yes, they do. The KA-50. Oh, God. I knew this was sort of coming, but I didn't think it would be on this dev server. This is essentially a Tech Tree KA-50. And, oh my God, I've seen the forums about this, like, the KA-50 alone. Let's have a look. So, 80 S8 Co rockets. They have pretty good pens, so they should be reliable. Looks like we've got some more bigger rockets. We've got bombs, and we've got 8 23mm. That'll be interesting. Where's the Vickers? Oh God, it carries 12 Vickers. I can feel the rage coming off this thing already, and it looks pretty well armored as well. So, oh God, I can feel the forums already screaming about this thing, and the fact that it's in the tech tree. God blimey. Okay, there was a few lag model reworks, like the lag flight model reworks from what I've seen in the actual patch and all that. Looks like Russia doesn't get anything new for aircraft. I think, yes, they do get a couple of new ships. They get the, oh God, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, the Sverdlov, something like that. This ship, again, looks very nice. I like the look of this thing. This is an absolute juggernaut. Like, I used to think when Gaijin was going to add naval, they wouldn't get to ships like this, but quite clearly they have. The armor looks pretty decent, and the armor around the turrets looks pretty decent, so it should be able to be competitive, but I don't know. I don't play naval, so I'm the last person to ask about that. And there's also a premium destroyer named the... I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that one. You Russians are your naming, I swear. But yeah, small destroyer. Looks like it's got a couple of torpedoes and stuff like that. It's also got a rocket launcher, which should be quite interesting. That's... Oh no, it's a mortar. It's a mortar, but from what I've seen with mortars, they don't tend to be that useful. But 7,000 golden eagles. I'd say test sail it. Obviously, we're not going to. This isn't the point. But I don't know. That's for definite. Okay, now I know Britain gets some stuff. Let's have a quick look. HMS Kent. This looks really... Oh my god, this looks nice. I love the smoke funnels on this thing. The armor doesn't look particularly great for 5.7 for a ship. I mean, there's some places where it might be able to bounce something, but I don't think the Kent's going to be that competitive. Its firepower seems okay, but the Kent just doesn't seem to have anything that will protect it against the much bigger heavy cruiser guns. And obviously this thing is a... Yes, it is a heavy cruiser, however it doesn't look like it has the armor of one. Aviation. Does Britain get anything new for aircraft? It doesn't look like it. Oh wait, no they do. I'm an absolute idiot. This is why I shouldn't record for morning or an afternoon brain. Well, evening brain more like. The Lightning F6, and this has been very well requested by the community. I know Fly did a video on this thing, if I remember rightly. He did a video on the Lightning F6 with a user-made mission, and well, here it is. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and well, from what Forsyth in my Discord has managed to work out, yeah, this thing's going to run out of fuel quick on Afterburner, but we'll have to see. Let's have a look at Ordnance. If it's got any, it's got some Fire Streak missiles, and it's got these red top missiles, so not bad. I mean, I've heard reasonable things about the Fire Streaks, and I don't know too much about the red tops, but Forsyth has said they're good, so we'll have to see about that. But let's just say I think we're going to get a lot of spam in this aircraft, especially when the live patch drops. Okay, helicopters, no. Is there anything new for British tanks? No. There is the Roycat pack, which I'm just gonna briefly show the Roycat. It's just a Roycat with a 105 strapped to it. Looks to be pretty strong. I mean, it gets DM12 of DM23, which that's going to be interesting, and DM502 Hesh. So this Roycat, I know Richie D is not going to be happy about this one, but I have, and I've seen a lot of people scream pay to win. I'll be the judge. Okay, Japan, do you get anything interesting? It doesn't look like it. Helicopters, still no. What about aircraft? Let's take a quick look. And they get the F4EJ Phantom 2. This should be, again, pretty interesting. Should have the same ordnance options, if not a little better than the US Phantom. It looks like that is the case. So if you've flown the US Phantom, you've flown the Japanese Phantom, it looks like. Again, very nice model. Absolutely gorgeous these new jets are. I do have to admit that. Okay, fleet. Do they get anything new for fleet? They get the Mikuma? I think that's how you say it. Yeah, again, looks very nice. I mean, the skin could be debatable, and well, Gaijin, give us these. I love these scout planes, like those sorts of scout planes. Armor looks to be reasonable. Armor looks to be pretty okay, and obviously, well, the turrets don't, but it's got a good bit of armament and decent anti-aircraft armament, it looks like. So, yeah, this thing should be reasonable, but I don't think it's going to hold a candle to most of the USSR ships that I've seen in the game. That's for definite. Okay, China. I know they only get a couple of things. Still no AA for lower tier China, which is disappointing. Did they get anything new for tanks? I don't think they do. I know they get a new plane though. That's for definite. Yeah, the Chinese F100A, and I figured it would be there actually. Let's have a quick look at that. Again, another lovely model, but I can already hear some US jet pilots screaming. Let's have a look at the ordnance and everything. Bombs look to be very limited, but at least it gets some AIM-9Bs and a couple of bullpups, so it should be okay, but yeah, I think China's been thrown the you just got joked sort of card. Like, This thing should be competitive, but I don't know. Okay, let's take a quick look at Italy, see if they got anything, because people's been screaming about that. And sadly, it doesn't look like Italy is going to get anything. Let's have a look at tanks. No, they don't appear to get anything. That is a shame. I know that they do get some new tanks, though. We get the French Crusader, which should be pretty interesting. If you've seen a Crusader in the tech tree of Britain, you've seen this tank already. It's just a Crusader copy and pasted into the new tech tree. There's also an M3A3 Stuart, and there's also a M4A3 105, which should be pretty interesting. There's also where's the MX32? Here it is. Again, this looks to be a pretty solid tank. I mean, like this tank looks absolutely ugly in my opinion. This thing does not look great at all. It's got a bit of spaced armor. Not that that's going to mean anything at 9.3, but personally, looks can be deceiving. So don't judge a book by its cover. This thing may be awesome for all I know, but at least it gets a stabilized gun, which not many French tanks do at high tier, from what I've heard. And here's the Bigan, which I'm not going to cover everything because otherwise I will be here all day. But we're going to look at the reserves and just have a brief look at all the tanks if we can. This thing looks really weird, doesn't it? Looks like it gets a APHE round and a solid AP round. So it should start you off nice. Let's have a look at the armor. Yeah, pretty trollish slopes and everything. Oh no, there's no transmission there, so that could be a kill shot. That could be a kill shot, so you really want to be careful in this tank. Maybe angle the armor or something. That seems to be the way to go with that thing. That's for definite. They're onto the Strv M38, which looks a lot better. Although the armor would tell me otherwise. That's for definite. 13 millimeters of armor protection. Transmission 51 kilometers an hour forwards, 6.3 in reverse. At least you get the transmission to block your shot, eh? But those are two reserve tanks. So that should be pretty interesting. Let's have a look at this little thing. Oh my, this reminds me of a flak panzer. So that should be pretty interesting. Let's have a look if there's any. Oh, sorry. Let's have a look if there's any armor piercing. Yeah, 42 millimeters of pen. Not the best, but it should start you off in the tech tree for a decent little anti-aircraft vehicle. And in typical fashion, no armor. Still, I'm not going to obviously cover everything because I will be here all day, but this is one that I really want to have a look at. The FM43-44. 50mm of front armor with 30mm being there. And it gets a completely huge overkill gun. A 150mm gun with 48mm of penetration. That's going to be fun. And it gets a whole amount of machine gun to help it out as well. So, this thing is going to be Sturmpanzer 2.0. Looking at that reload and the gun depression, you kind of need to do that. But I'm looking forward to this thing, to say the least. The starter premium for the actual nation itself is the Strv Wagon M39. Again, looks pretty nice. Should start you off nice and easy with a tech tree. Armor appears to be very poor around here, but it seems to be pretty much exactly the same as one of the reserve tanks. So it'll get you started, but it won't exactly be anything too special, shall we say. And there's been rumours of I think it's the 622, but this is the one that many people are going to want to see. It's the Strv Wagon 121, which appears to be a Leopard 2A5. Again, I don't play high tier tanks, so I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a look at their anti-aircraft. Oh my god. I was not expecting that. This thing is one ugly thing, that's for definite. Or is this... No, this can't be an anti-aircraft. Or is it? It is. It's just... It reminds me of the M113A1 Tobe. But it gets a bit of smoke. It gets a air-to-air missile of some kind. Should be pretty interesting. I mean, it looks weird as fuck, if I was to honestly say. But this thing's apparently a really good light tank. Like, it's got pretty good composite armor and stuff, even though it's obviously not shown there. But personally, folks, there's a lot to go through, and I just don't think I'm gonna have the time. Obviously, there's an Asterix Wagon 81, which is a Centurion Mark III. Just this one doesn't have the. It doesn't have the. What is it? The robot missiles, I think it's called. That should be pretty interesting. And overall, the tech tree looks to be very strong in terms of actual vehicles and everything. Oh yeah. Oh yes. A truck with a gun on it. We had to have that, didn't we? 40mm Bofors on what appears to be a modified Volvo. Like, that's going to be fun to drive. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this tree for a whole, and obviously with this patch coming out very soon, this is going to be really interesting. I want to look down the anti-aircraft line because I'm really curious. But this nation as a whole looks to be very strong. Very, very strong. I have to admit, this reminds me of an AMX DCA-30, or DCA-40, sorry. It looks to be a good tech tree, and with a good amount of anti-aircraft vehicles, this reminds me of a Sergeant York. There's just so much to go through, and, well, I don't know how long I've been going on now, but there's a lot to enjoy. That's for definite. And with vehicles that you might recognize from modern tanks, this may just be a fun tech tree for everyone who's either played modern tanks or is into Swedish ground forces as a whole. So I'm going to leave it here. I believe there is an aircraft that I get, or am I wrong? Yes, there's the Draken, but I'll do the Draken last, and then we'll move on, and I'll end the video here. But the Draken's been long requested, and well, here it is, folks. RB-24 air-to-air missiles, rockets, and everything. Looks to be a lot of fun. That's for definite. Obviously, I'm not going to cover the entire Swedish Ground Forces tree, otherwise I'll be here all day. But just to go over some of the ones that I recognise, and well, Derp Angel wanted me to look at this tank because he thinks it's going to be a rival to Buster, his Panzer IV F2. But looking at that penetration, I don't think so. But yeah, there's a lot of vehicles in this tech tree. There's a lot of vehicles to enjoy, and I really suspect that guys are going to push the boat out when it comes to adding vehicles to this tech tree in the future. Looks like they've really gone out and gotten some really weird and funky vehicles, and I honestly cannot wait for this tech tree. But anyway, I've blabbered for probably about 20 minutes now, so I'm going to let you guys off, and well, I hope you enjoyed today's little overview. Obviously, it's not entire overview. This is just to cover it briefly. Yeah, if you haven't bought into Sweden with either the Saab or the Asterix Wagon 1030, I really think you should. This tech tree looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all on the next one.